AITA for not letting my MIL and FIL help me with the baby after their reaction to me being injured. I, 21F, have a 7-month-old son with my boyfriend. My family lives abroad and are coming over to stay and help at Christmas time. For now, my MIL and FIL, 60s Deborah and Bob, are helping me with household stuff and the baby. So far, we haven't had any real issues and they've been a massive help. About 3 weeks ago, I fell down the stairs. I wasn't holding the baby and the baby was safe. However, instead of helping me, Deborah and Bob both jumped to comfort the baby who was crying and left me at the bottom of the stairs. My legs were fine, but I was wobbly because of shock and asked one of them to help me up. After nearly 10 whole minutes of being ignored, I managed to stand up on my own and hobble through to the living room. I sit down and Deborah says, "What's happened to you? Are you okay?" I'll admit, I saw red. I just said, "I fell down the stairs. Didn't you hear me calling you for help?" Deborah's eyes widened and she said she was too busy fussing over the baby. After an hour, my arm was swelling up and I was taken to hospital. Luckily, it was nothing serious and recovery time would be quick. After my boyfriend got home and his parents left, I told him I no longer want their help after today's events. I can manage on my own, even though it'll be hard. He was taken aback and said they've done a lot for us. I said I appreciated it all, but they ignored me crying and calling them for 10 minutes after I fell down the stairs. They don't care about me. Only the baby, and I was embarrassed I didn't see it sooner. He called his parents to let them know we won't need their help anymore, and his dad said, "Is it about today?" We really didn't hear her. My boyfriend just told them they're invited to Sunday roast this week. And that's all. I could tell he was not happy about my decision, but he said he went along with it because I'm the mother. Fast forward to Sunday and my Bill and Sil are guests as well. Sil has a 3-year-old and is totally on my side, but Bill is not. He told me to be grateful for his parents' support as they're significantly more well-off than my parents are, and paid for many newborn infant expenses and plan to pay for many more as the baby grows. Since then, Deborah keeps calling asking if we need any help and says she feels awful not seeing the both of you, and that she misses the baby. AITA for not wanting them helping me in my day-to-day life. Edit. Was the baby crying loudly enough that there is a possibility they didn't hear you? No way. The baby stopped crying after 10 seconds and the stairs are like 2 meters from the living room. There is absolutely zero way they couldn't have heard me one scream as I fell to the general noise of someone falling, including books falling and wall plates breaking. 3 Me crying and shouting for help. I fell at the top of the stairs and fell all the way down. This wasn't a missed step and a bum shuffle down that hurt my pelvic bone. I fully fell down the stairs and cracked the banister. No way they didn't hear. The baby also started crying after the initial smack after I hit the ground. NTA. From what you described, there's no way they didn't hear you fall. They deliberately chose to ignore you lying there, possibly seriously hurt, and they are lying about it. They didn't help you at all until you managed to get yourself to a place that they could no longer ignore you. In turn, you cannot ignore behavior like that. You just can't. What if you'd punctured a lung or passed out from a serious concussion? What if you died because they couldn't be bothered to investigate? You are better off without that kind of help. I'm aghast that your husband didn't rip them each a new one. NTA. You are the only one who knows the layout of your home, the time frame of the crying and the noise, and how everyone reacted. I can't imagine that upon hearing thumps and screams, they would rush to a baby who is fine, and for the next 10 minutes they didn't bother to call out for you or to investigate where the noise came from. While they may not have intentionally ignored you, They displayed a lack of care for you. And weirdly for themselves. If I hear a big noise, I'm looking around. And I'm certainly yelling out for anyone else who would be home. Both to make sure they are okay but also to make sure we aren't being robbed or something is wrong. My dad drops a pot on the floor once a day and we still all yell, "You okay?" even though we know exactly what the man did. And you know what? It doesn't matter if they want to help. Or if they have given you a ton of money and stuff. You aren't going no contact with them and you aren't keeping them from the baby. You just don't want them around every day. Your feelings are hurt and you don't want to rely on them in the same way. I might agree with your bill if you were fully not speaking to them. But you are just scaling back their involvement. And that's fine. NTA. If they couldn't respond to an emergency situation within meters of where they were, then how are they responsible enough to take any care of a baby? NTA. That she misses the baby. That's all she misses. Not the baby's incubator. Sorry you found out this way. NTA. After reading your edit, it seems like there is no way they didn't hear you. Have they done stuff like this in the past? Babies' cries are high-pitched. A tumble down the stairs is a lot of ruckus. An adult human cries at a much lower register than a baby. I'm pointing this out because if they are trying to say that my hearing isn't what it used to be, then that is not a good argument. The first thing to go is hearing at the higher registers. Meaning if anything, it would have been the baby's cries that they couldn't hear. But if we ignore that, then let's see what the situation is. They heard the baby crying. Presumably you heard the baby cry. If I'm at someone's house, and their baby cries, I wonder, why isn't mom, dad taking care of this baby? After I've checked to make sure the baby is okay, I go to check out why the parent didn't come. Where are you? Are you ignoring your baby? Do you need help? Were you in the bathroom? Did you fall down the stairs? No matter what way you look at it, there's something fishy about this situation. NTA. INTA. You don't comfort a baby and not look for why they are crying. The noise probably scared the baby. Where did the noise come from? They should have checked on you even if they didn't hear you. If someone shouts in this house, people come to check, even if it's just barely heard, especially after sounds of things falling and breaking. Something could have affected how loud they could yell, and they needed help. NTA. And if you really want to take it step further, especially about being alone with baby, you can say they can't trust them to be with baby. Because if they didn't hear your obvious yelling, then there must be something wrong with their hearing. And what if they can't hear the baby? See, they can't argue with that without sounding like they purposely ignored you. NTA. Is your boyfriend a lot older than you? I only ask because what Bill said to you. They can hear a baby cry but they can't hear you screaming for help or falling downstairs. It definitely sound intentional. Not so much they wanted you out of the picture, but you just aren't a high enough priority for them to be concerned about. Extra help is nice now and then, but there's no way I could handle someone coming in constantly. I want to patent my kids, not stand by while someone else does it. If you can afford to hire a housekeeper a couple days a week, do that if you can't keep up with both. NTA. I think they can visit when your husband is around. You don't need their help. What strange behavior on their part. Info. Have there been signs that they hate you or are deranged? NTA. In addition to what everyone else has noted, I want to point out that it sounds like your BF's parents come to help out when he isn't around. I'm guessing he's at work? So he 100% shouldn't have a say in whether or not they help, since it's not even impacting him. You should make sure he understands that he should be supportive of your choice because you're the only person who is directly impacted. Not just because you're the mom. If he wants them around when he's at home and you're not, that's his right. 2. If you let him rely on the reasoning that your opinion matters most just because you're the mother, that will build resentment. Because he's the father, so if something impacts you both equally, then your decisions should be made together as opposed to unilaterally. NTA. If you can't trust someone to help you when you need them, why have them there? You don't trust them anymore, and that's fair. NTA. But his parents and brother are. Their excuses for not hearing you is BS. And your FIL knowing why proves they did it on purpose. They knew what they were doing and are now acting like, what did we do? How about nothing? Your NTA. If they can't be trusted to check on an adult after screaming, knocking down plates, and falling down the stairs, then they certainly can't be trusted to watch a small child. NTA. Even if they genuinely somehow didn't hear you, it only proves they're not fit to look after a baby. NTA. In-laws' actions and reactions are telling after Op was injured. Would they have just stepped over her if she was bleeding to death on the ground or had a broken leg? I can understand Op no longer trusting them for help. This is one of the more bizarre stories on here. I think you're doing the right thing. Your in-laws have something seriously wrong with them. NTA. From how you described it, they heard you repeatedly crying out in pain and just didn't care. Which is pretty horrifying. I'd need to not see their faces for a long time after that. But even if we're being super generous and giving them the benefit of the doubt, or perhaps super in denial, like you're still allowed, encouraged even, to have healthy boundaries with your in-laws. Like, you guys can't be over here 24/7. I need space. And no, your bill insisting the in-laws should be allowed to buy themselves a free pass to cross boundaries would be a non-starter for me. 2. NTA. I find their excuse that they didn't hear a person scream as they fell downstairs ridiculous.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.